Do you think you can explain why the remaining oxygen level increased? Of course I can. The thing to do at a time like this is turn my thinking around. Mr. Starbuck had no memory of it, but he claims to have carried clay. So this man with the 50 on his tank ought to be Mr. Starbuck. But if anything, the display on his oxygen tank should have shown an 80. This is a clear contradiction between the report and the security footage. So what I should be asking is not, why did the oxygen level increase, but what had to happen, what had to have happened to make it look like it increased. I'm making some kind of mistake in my base assumptions here. Well, Mr. Justice, we're waiting. Yes, Your Honor. I'm ready to answer. This is why the remaining oxygen tank, this is why the remaining oxygen appears to have increased. They're going the other way. The victim was carrying the defendant, or the tanks were damaged. Should they go over here? Now, the tanks were damaged, but which is right here. The victim's tank was ruptured. That proves that they were damaged. However, it says the victim's tank. That doesn't mean it says the victim's tank was ruptured, not the defendant's tank. So, however, that just to make sure we updated the report. Defendant had 80% remaining oxygen displayed on shoulder. Display on the astronaut's left shoulder shows the oxygen tank, oxygen remaining after the incident. The victim's tank was ruptured and the remaining oxygen was zero. The tank belonging to Starbuck, who claims to have carried the victim, said it was 80% full. Tanks were properly functioning at this time. That statement right there, along with the victim's tank being ruptured, says that not both of them were ruptured, so that, and the fact that it says both were functioning at this time means that it is not both tanks were being damaged, and they were going the right way because that was the entrance to the Space Center. As you can see here, launch pad 1, there's only one way to the lounge. So, that leaves us with the victim was carrying the defendant. What if it was the other way around? The other way around? Would you care to explain, Mr. Justice? As you can see, Your Honor, both men had their helmets on in this footage. But it turns out, this is where our base assumptions went astray. We assumed that it was Mr. Starbuck helping Mr. Terran, but it was the other way around. It wasn't Mr. Starbuck helping Mr. Terran at all. It was Mr. Terran who was helping Mr. Starbuck to the boarding lounge. Well, I guess that sums it up in a short, sensible way.